a maneuver!
29th place, David Pena, playing maybe the most unique deck, the most out of left field, the most surprising deck, the most sleeper deck, Death Arms. This is a Earth 6-hander that basically gives 1 speed and 2 damage to 5 difficulty or greater attacks. And then can respond at the start of your turn. He destroys one of his foundations, but gets to commit 2 of yours. So, pretty good control character. Pretty good at going second. And I think David started on the lower side of the bracket. There's definitely going to be some people who went first and lost somewhere in here. But I don't have the standings. I don't have the bracket right in front of me. But I can tell by the fact that we have Ready, Get, Set, Go mained and Seizing sided that I'm like 99% sure we were going second a lot. So let's jump into it. So Death Arms does not say non-throw attack. So Trap Flex is a 5 difficulty throw that's just going to get our stats. I mean, was it a 4? It's 1 speed. Yeah, so a 4 mid for 7 throw. That's just fucking annoying. And you destroy your foundations to commit your rivals, so you probably have less foundations than them, and it's a low effort 9 damage throw. I'm here for it. Death Arms Wallet, the signature attack, it just wants you to dump a bunch of momentum and then get speed for it. So this is cool. This is maybe not the place to gush over card design, but this is neat because it is like multiple iterations of his enhance. So let's say you have 1 momentum, you discard 1 momentum for powerful 2. You get 2 damage and 1 speed, right? Just like his enhance. So if you have 2 momentum, it's like 2 copies of his enhance. I thought that was neat. I thought this was cool. And then it also helps, it's also open-ended enough. So if you discard momentum for other abilities, it's useful in other characters. So I just thought that was cool. And then it has targeted flip for the foundations that you commit. So it turns it into a permanent solution rather than a temporary one. Very cool. Back Alley Haymaker is the staple of all staples. Not surprised to see it being registered. Maybe surprised to see more of it, but we'll have to go through more deck lists to find out. Naval Laser Beam, very cool. It's 5 difficulty. It's all about numbers. And it has Breaker 2. Berserker Blow. This one surprised me. This one's kind of interesting because we're not Nomu. So we do actually have to pay for that cost, that destroy 1 foundation cost. But this is a really good deadlock effect. This is like an insanely strong deadlock effect most of the time. And it's just statted really well again. Harn Chop is maybe secretly the best Death Arms attack. 5 low, 7, and you get fucked if you block. You know, it helps you stay like resource neutral when playing a bunch of 5 diffs. Right? Like this is a 5 diff that's secretly a 4 diff. He needs more of these. Like Death Arms actually needs like 1 more of these to really get going. Like I'm a little surprised you don't have Jab just for like resource management, but Jab wouldn't get stats, so not that surprising. But then Texas Smash, we have a whole bunch of punches. Our only non-punch is the Naval Laser Beam, right? And Trap Flex. So Texas Smash into a Trap Flex, big old deal. Texas Smash into a Trap Flex, I would assume won a game at least once over the weekend. So yeah, this attack lineup is just good statted stuff. Just beat some ass. I think we could use a little more ramp, but I certainly haven't put the hours into Death Arms to know. And all the Death Arms I fought are chaos. So that was the most surprising thing to me, was seeing a 6 hand size Earth deck that was not Ojiro. Going to the foundations, we finally we have some 3 divs. Have some 3 difficulties finally with pull no punches. Everything's a punch here, like we said, except like 5 total attack cards. Another 22 attack deck. There's so many cards. So many decks have 22 attacks exactly. Very weird. Is this at 58 as well? Oh, this is at the gamer number. I can't say that on stream. I can't tell you how many cards are in this deck on YouTube. It's 22 attacks though, again, which we've seen a lot. Like no matter how big your deck is, 22 attacks seems to be like a staple number. Like if you go like below 58, 56 cards, you maybe go down to 18, but I don't know. I don't know what the deal with the ratios are right now. I'm not a math gamer. Yeah, there's a super nice amount of cards. So it is the correct. I say, this is how I put it. I say that it has the correct amount of cards in the deck. That is what I say. Every event, every tournament I've ever won, except maybe one, has had this number of cards in it. Every time I do well, it's that number. So, Proud Scion, this is a Death Arms card. It's very funny that they put Ida in the art, but this is a Death Arms card. After your rival's start phase, just commit one of their foundations that messes with speed. Absolutely great. And because of the timing with it, we can commit something on their board and then destroy this for cost. So this is one of the best ways to like have a build turn and like get more out of our resources. So yeah, I think that this is gonna be like, this is the reason to play Earth Death Arms instead of Chaos Death Arms, basically, right? Prehensile Tail, this is our deadlock effect. Like this is, so David Pena played a bunch of decks that were either really weak to decks that went into deadlock, or he was playing like a super defensive Kirishima that went into deadlock every time I saw him play. So seeing him with like upfront deadlock effects like Berserker Blow and like Prehensile Tail makes sense, but I don't think we had these Momos flying around. I don't think we had like the same sort of stall meta. Like Broberg built into deadlock quite a bit into the matchups where he recognized that like he had to and he could. So maybe David Pena was teching hard for like his playstyle, but I'm not surprised to see him running this based on previous information. However, this was not a card we saw doing too much on the stream. One with Nature is a 4 of. You know, someone finally just said, fuck it, we're going in. Finally, a deck that is willing to play a 4-check. Like, this card is nuts, but mostly just to play, like, greedy turn ones. A lot of the other, you know, the other Earth decks we've seen, they can't really afford the 4-check, and they're not really trying to, like, add foundations to their hand at the cost of committing a foundation, so it, like, bothers me that we didn't see more of this, but I'm not that surprised. I love it in this deck, though. I love it for the same reason that, like, Proud Scion, it gives us a committed foundation to blow up, to pay for our cost, so super cool there. 2 of Apathetic, love to see it mainboarded. 3 years so obvious, cool to see it mainboarded. Our sideboard is like very specific, so these cards making it into the main board makes sense. And then we're going to the 1-diffs, and now this is the first time we didn't see 4 Chivalrous Competitor. This has been a 4 of the whole time. You can see our highs and our low blocks beat out our mid blocks by quite a bit. So maybe it's just a block zone issue. Maybe we just didn't want to go too big, but like looking at all these cards in here, like I don't know, like this quick to act could have, this one of quick to act could have definitely just been Chivalrous, right? Like I don't know. Pretty interesting stuff. 3 Snack Time. This is just gonna go with our 1 with Nature. It's another deadlock effect. It's very interesting to me how often I see people activate 1 with Nature one time while Snack Time is on the board for like their first attack, when Snack Time could give you 1 speed, stun 1, and 1 damage, because you still get the response off 1 with Nature. But people just automatically hit the 1 with Nature button, so I'd like to see more Snack Time on deck lists, and I'd like to see it getting utilized more, because it always seems like there's like 1 or 2 activations of 1 with Nature that should have just been Snack Time. Then we have High Value Target, counts as 2 on defense, pretty solid, does allow what Chivalrous does. 4 of Forcing Surrender main board, just trying to hate on Tokoyami. Trying to say we do not like Tokoyami, I believe, because I don't think anything, oh, Texas Match, I guess. I don't think anything in this deck is super weak to card pull clog except Texas, I guess. So there's that. Maybe it's here for momentum hate, but I doubt it. The one with quick to act seems a little out of place, but I mean it's good stats, right? Like if you get it going. 4 of tight lipped. I mean, we just also need. I guess we also need targets for back alley, right? Like we may have just said we really want one more target, but your +1 mid block and your +1 high block 0. These are all pretty staple. The sideboard I'm going to jump straight to because I think this is super interesting. Like, just a very heavily slanted sideboard. I don't know if this was like super thought out or if this is like for like one specific matchup, like each of these cards. Teasing for going first, I'm a fan of. Plus Ultra is here for like crazy blocks, even though it's like a set 3 character, like, or set 2. Was Death Arms, he was what? He's Quirk Pack 3, yeah, he's set 3, so. Man, I'm really curious if these are like for a specific matchup. Like, this is for like Tokoyami. Like, it seems like we were expecting a ton of Tokoyami with this list, and then probably didn't actually get to fight it. That's my take, at least. That's like the surface level take. Other than that, I'd like to see this deck in action. I bet this deck does a very good Ojiro impression when it gets rolling and like when it checks well, but it's not going to be as devastating, right? Like it front loads like a stun 2 going into its own turn, but like I don't think Death Arms is like nutty going first because of that. And maybe we could have had like Death Arms as the main board for our going second because he's good at going second, and then we could have turned this into like an Ojiro deck for the one game we get to go first, right? Or maybe we just wanted 2-0 people going second. I don't know. Other than that, I think this is solid, right? Like, I definitely think we could have afforded a few more 4 divs. Just a couple. I think we could have afforded some more mid blocks, like get the one more Texas Smash in there. I'm curious how many people went to Deadlock against him for cards like Berserker Blow, because I don't think it was a lot. You know, we didn't see a ton of Deadlock going on stream, and the Deadlock we did see was like Brobrig and Deadlock on turn 2. You know, like Brobrig and Deadlock on turn 3 against people who didn't find their threats. So yeah, not too much I can give like without experience with this character, of course, but on paper I just don't see this like producing too much. But I love the Harden Chop. I love Naval Laser Beam is here. Maybe if we had like some kind of fast momentum, but yeah, I'd like to see a jab. I'd like to see a jab or like some more solid mid blocks, +1 mid blocks. Other than that, like, I think Death Arms was a solid choice for going second. I think Death Arms was a super cool choice for, like, I'm lower seed bracket. You know I'm going to have to go second, and this response is one of the best for it. You know, these kinds of cards, like New Training Method, Proud Scion, really good for it, but in this format, we really, if we're going to play a bunch of One with Nature, we really need to have cards to discard for it, right? Like, how much are we really drawing? Like, are we drawing off Back Alley Haymaker? We're drawing off Chivalrous? Like, that's about it. You know, like I said, we don't really want to be flipping New Training just to pick up stuff to discard, but I've done it before. So I think David wanted to take people out to deep waters and probably just couldn't get there. But again, it is about the journey. And David Pena almost missed out on, I think it was the last regional, the last online regional. He almost missed out on that because just all the scheduling faux pas surrounding that stuff. And so I was really, really happy to see David make it out to the final events, to be able to qualify and make it to the HLC. So, you know, congratulations to him. He had a super cool run, had some great results, played some pretty outside the meta decks, you know. I think aside from maybe like a Kirishima 2 run, you know, early set 3, something like that, I think he was always playing like lesser known decks or you know, ones that might be like a known entity, but he's like the best one at it, like Ochako 2. I've definitely gotten steamrolled by him in a provisional before, so I was very happy that he didn't get his HLC dreams ruined by bad scheduling. So congratulations to David Pena, and man, I hope to see you in the future at more events.